Tum-de-dum-de-dum-dum, it's time, oops, for the oiling, but it's also time for something else, cutting up some plots. So I'm going to make a couple of squares, cut down the middle like so, and then make some more square, or no squares, make some small cuts of stuff. So what I'm going to do is make a sort of ball of cotton, and then kind of connect it up with one of those. So you can go over there, you can come here, there's the start point. Let's use half of this, more, a bit more than half maybe, I don't know. That'll be enough, that might be enough. So actually put a bit more because we're going to gain some more any second now. So there we are. So we sort of squish it all together into a ball like so, which I'm going to then seal or cinch off with my cable tie. Squish that, do it up, and get rid of the excess, and then also we'll get rid of some excess here, which we can use for the next one. So there we have a nice thing. Now I've got the hanging rope still in here. I'm going to leave it in there because I'm going to want to lift this up and put it up to hang up to dry. And here I've got some my stuff, and it's still a nice colour, but I'm going to chuck quite a lot at it to begin with, so we're not going to get much done, but I'll get it started. The other thing I should do before I do this, I'm going to put on this little glove. It may or may not work because they're pretty small, and often they just break like that. I thought I had some that fitted. I tried these the other day. I'm sure they worked. There's some sort of clever way to do this. It doesn't involve pulling it harshly across the hand. I don't know. Let's try and get it on this time before it breaks. Yeah, maybe squeeze, wiggle. No, wasting my time. Nice idea. Impossible. Right, let's do the fun part. So we're going to do this. I suppose let's start with it down this front part, and we'll just get oil on. Now, some people say you put the oil on and then rub it in with your fingers, but to be honest, I'm not sure that's really such an easy thing to do. So I'm going to start off just letting it kind of sit on. Now, the thing I believe is in the first run like this, we will find that some of the colour will lift up and become part of the oil. So I think it's just going to be a matter of trying this out. I'm going to get quite a bit of oil onto there, soak in a lot in the first instance, and it does get in, soaks in really quick. So in a way, this first coat will pretty much seal in whatever colours we've got going on here. So I'm putting it on fairly thick. We'll probably use all of this up on just the first heavy coat. And then we'll go to the edges. And we also got to get this oil up into the crease there, which is going to be a little bit difficult to do, but I'm sure we'll get there. See, there's quite a lot of oil on here now, and then we'll chuck a load on here, which will go through into the cavity, but that's okay, we can worry about that later. Okay, so again, get some thick oil into the cracks, nooks and crannies. Okay, so we've got a lot of oil on this front now, and you can see it does bring out the grain quite nicely, but I'm going to just already start to try and smooth it out. I don't at any point want to leave great drips of it on there, so I'll just rub as much as possible through. Okay, so that's a start. Then I'm going to need to do the sides. I don't know what you can see now, but let's get the sides going. And these will come out very dark. They'll soak up oil really well. Sorry if the picture's no good, I can't see what's going on here with this camera, so we're only getting sort of cursory look. So that really soaks the oil in, the edge grain. Now we can't really be too precious about getting bits of grime on here, because this is early days, so we have to really sort of chuck the oil on as thickly as we can to start with. If we have to touch down to hold it up, we have to touch down to hold it up. We can always cover that up again later on. Now I'm almost out of oil for this first run down the sides. And the thing is, what I tend to do is once I've got the oil on, then I hang it, and then I go over and work the oil into work it smooth, so we get rid of any drips and blodges and stuff. This is starting to run out. So I'll put it down on its clean side. I'm going to chuck out a load more to do the back side, and then, as I say, it'll be a matter of cleaning. Remove some gunge. We can actually now pour this on here and distribute. Oops, don't necessarily want to go into the cavity, but we can always scrape that out when it's dry anyway. It's a bit dodgy because that forms a drip, so we're going to need to be careful to try and clean that out before we hang this thing up to dry. So we've got lots of oil on here, loads of it. I'll rub it in, and I'll take any of the excess off and put it on the sides if I can. I'm just lifting up the excess off and bringing it around So, almost there. Filming. Come through, but I'm filming. Right, so there's the first pile of oil, which I now need to hang up quickly. And I'm afraid we can't see what the hell's going on around there, but hang it up here. And then terrible camera work, sorry. Ornaments going flying. Let's put you down. Let's zoom you out, can we? We're upside down or something? I don't know. Where are we? I think we're... Sorry. Sorry about this. There we are. Fairly far away. Okay, so I need some clean cloth. And now the object is to take away the excess. See that the drips are coming out from this electric cavity lip, so I want to try and pull that stuff out of there as much as possible. Okay, so all of the excess should be off there just now. We can sort of look in the reflection and make sure that it is off. And it's not too bad. So I kind of spin it just to check. This is just the first coat, so it's going to take a lot more than this. Okay, going to leave that for a while. Come back round here. Because the next thing we've got to do is Thomas has turned the light off. Very diligent. Next thing is the neck. Here it is. So, where are you looking? Can you see? Down there. Right. Sorry about the camera work, it's pretty lousy. So here we have a neck that we want to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different piece of the cloth. I'll use a smaller bit. So first thing I'm going to do is just rub some oil right on directly onto here. Now this is probably going to pull in it'll build up in the holes, tuna holes, but that's okay because we can always remove that with the reamer later on. We don't have to be too worried about that. So mainly I just want to get a layer of oil over the front of this. It's a bit dry at the end there. So that's the front. Of course the front is going to be the visual bit, the most visual bit, so we want to keep that nice and smooth at all times as we go. And some on the back, but let's just whiz around the edge first, and as we go make sure that in doing so we don't get any spills or drips coming across the top there. If we do, we just want to smooth it out as a final thing. And if you're doing this, I would say go back to your front most visible surface last and make sure that one of all surfaces is good. Okay, so we don't need to worry about the edge of the, what's that thing, binding, because we can scrape it away later. So I'm just going to get the oil onto this neck. Sorry if you're out of view at the moment, just trying to do this quickly and thoroughly. And I'm going to come up to, along the side of the neck, I'm going to come up to where the dots are. Dots, the drilled holes are, where the bolts go in. And I'm just going to cover up to there. So I've got a bit to hold on to do this throughout the whole process, because I don't want too much building up on here. We'll get a bit of overflow, but then we can clean it up later with a knife. And then I can hold this like so. Sorry about the view. And I can just oil the very end bit. So in the same sort of way, I'm going to take this over to its piece of, whoops, there's a bit I've missed. So let's see if I can do this. How am I going to hold this? Right, we've missed a bit. I think it's on the front side now. I'll put it on its rope, on its string over here. Let's turn it round to face the front. And as I mentioned, I'm going to take a bit and just make sure that the front surface is done. And it's looking a little bit dry where I missed it there. So hard to hold now. So I'm just trying to spread the oil as much as I can. Not easy to hold on to. Okay, so there's the first coats on there, and that's that. So I've got oil, which is hard to get off. Try and utilise a bit of cloth. My idea of the gloves really didn't work. So, terrible camera mount, I'm sorry about this. It's sort of got its own light, but it's awful. Like I told you, it's going to flop down. So there we are. There's the first bit, you can see. And then it's on the back side as well. Looking all right. And then over to here, we can sort of see a fair covering of oil. Lots of, it's nice and dark on the edges. Fair covering of oil, but not a lot of drips or runs. And let's just whiz back here. Did I see any on there? Nope. Some places I may have missed it by a fraction, but we can pick that up on the next oiling. There's a tiny bit of wet oil there, which I can just brush off like that. I haven't got anything to hold on with. Yeah, terrible camera work, but that's what you get for a home shoot. So I think that's pretty much as much as I'm going to do on this. What I tend to do is I'll leave this now. I'll leave it for about 10 minutes. I'll give it another gentle rub down as it's drying to make sure there are no drips at all. Same with the neck, and then I'll leave it for 4 hours, and probably just before I go to bed I'll put on the last of the oil. Meanwhile, I'll go to the computer and order some more. So I think we'll just get this one coat, whoops, runs into his neck. We'll get this one coat done, and I'll put some of that back into the container. See you later.